Exciting times for the XRP community. David Schwartz is back in the spotlight, stirring up some buzz, maybe even a little warning. Danger ahead, perhaps. Let's dive in. Hope you're all having an amazing day out there. XRP is holding steady around $2.24 as we speak. Incredible, right? We're definitely gaining momentum, but here's the deal. We can't afford a sudden drop from here. What we need is solid consolidation and a steady climb upward. Resistance levels are aplenty, but this is the time to push through and keep aiming higher. And speaking of action, David Schwartz is making waves again. He's been super active lately, firing off tweets, sometimes bullish, sometimes maybe not so much, a little bearish even. What's his game plan here? Now let's get into the good stuff about XRP and its community. The latest, David Schwartz recently shared a tweet that's caught everyone's attention. He's pointing out a $2,500,000 Richard Mule blue sapphire skull, saying the skull looks cool, but everything else seems like cheap plastic. And here it is, folks. Wow. When I look at this, the first thing that grabs my attention is the blue. Hard to miss, right? That shade of blue feels significant, almost like it's calling out. And sure enough, it ties into gemstones and birthstones. September, the sapphire month. Interesting, isn't it? That month seems to pop up everywhere these days. Could it mark something important? Maybe, just maybe, a ritual involving Bitcoin? Think about it. Printing endless money might require a recession first. Just something to keep in mind. Now the skull, that skull within the watch, it feels like more than a design choice. It's like it's trying to send a message. Immediately it clicks. The skull connects to the skull of Satoshi. Strange, isn't it? And here's David Schwartz talking about the exact same thing. The link to Bitcoin feels undeniable. Could this be a warning? A sign that Bitcoin's end might be closer than we think? Not today, not tomorrow, but soon, right? We're getting close, folks. Really close. The real question is, are we on the brink of collapse? Or could Bitcoin skyrocket to an unbelievable $2,500,000 before the game changes? Sounds crazy, but picture this at $2,500,000 per Bitcoin. Wild, right? Who knows what's next, but let's keep watching. Honestly, I was stunned when I saw Ripple gift that ominous Bitcoin skull statue to a museum. What a statement. Meanwhile, everything else feels like cheap plastic by comparison. Big changes are coming to Bitcoin. Bargain prices are on the horizon. But here's the twist. I believe the real flood of money will shift from Bitcoin to XRP. Why? Because Satoshi Nakamoto might have left us a clue, right? The wave, the ripple, it's all there in the zine book that Bitcoiners conveniently ignore. Hidden in plain sight. It feels like a nudge to pay attention to Ripple. Could XRP be the tsunami where the money flows once the skull activates? Maybe. This isn't just speculation. Even the head of research at Uphold warns that hundreds of crypto projects could go under in the next 6 months. Their cash is drying up, tokens are becoming worthless, and the ICO model is gasping for air. The crypto landscape is shifting fast. Remember this, he's at Uphold, which is already a big deal, but here's the kicker. Brad Garlinghouse mentioned on November 9th, yep, 99% of crypto projects will disappear. Guess what? XRP won't be one of them. Think about it. Bitcoin might just be part of that disappearing act. Look around. We're living in wild times. Protecting your wealth is more important than ever because let's face it, anything can happen. A black swan event could hit when you least expect it. Mr. Poole hinted they'll keep pumping Bitcoin until the day they don't. But here's the question. When is that day? Nobody knows except the insiders. That's why I said the higher Bitcoin climbs, the riskier it becomes to hold. Just my 2 cents, right? But let's be honest, it's going to keep surging until it doesn't. So don't go full bear just yet. Funny how we talk about massive crashes and the demise of coins, isn't it? Here's a twist. On June 3rd, 2020, Mr. Poole dropped a cryptic reset counter post. 589. Strange timing, because today Davish tweeted something eerily similar, also tied to the idea of death. 589, the so-called reset, signaling destruction or an ending. Today's a rare double 589. Why? June 3rd, 2025 on the solar calendar aligns with May 8th, 2025 on the lunar calendar. That's 2589 S1 day. Wild, right? But here's where it gets even crazier. Exactly 2 years ago, Elon Musk tweeted about time to complete the circle. Think about it. X.com, XRP, and completing a circle. What's a circle? 5x 8x 9 equals 360 degrees. A full circle. Could this mean it's time for the 589 reset? The signs seem to align perfectly. What are the odds? According to Gold Telegraph, they're pretty high. Jerome Powell just dropped a big one. The end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy. Intriguing, right? But here's the real question. What exactly happened in the 1970s? Anyone digging into that feels like a puzzle waiting to be solved with clues scattered everywhere. So why mention it now? You think about it, he's hinting at a shift, a possible new financial order. Something's brewing. Pay attention, folks. And hey, take a close look at what colors he's wearing this time.
Had emerged from World War II as a global economic superpower. The Bretton Woods Agreement placed the U.S. and the Fed in a central position in the global economy. Our mission then, as it is now, was to serve the American people. But it was clear at that moment that the Fed needed to have better knowledge of global developments to achieve our dual mandate goals. A 1948 memo proposing to create the division stated, quoting, "Problems of international economics and finance have become increasingly large, complex, and significant in recent years, and our foreign economic relations will undoubtedly continue to give rise to issues of the first magnitude." That rare economic forecast that has turned out to be spot on. 75 years later, it remains critical that the Fed understand the policies and practices of other governments and central banks and their implications for the U.S. economy and for financial markets. Exchange rate policy, of course, is now firmly in the hands of the U.S. Treasury. However, the end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy, as policymakers had to understand the effects of potentially more volatile movements of the U.S. dollar on American families and businesses. Understanding global trade and capital movements has only grown in importance since 1950, as we saw during the pandemic.
Supposedly, the Nazis ditched the gold standard, right? And here we are discussing a major monetary policy shift. But what's really strange? The purple tie. Yes, the tie. What does it mean? Purple, the color of mystery, leading straight to the Federal Reserve. And what are they doing? Surrendering. Now, let's talk exchange rates. Could it be the key? I'm not saying it's obvious, but come on. It's all connected, all planned. Back in 1993, nearly 30 years ago, someone predicted this. Fast forward, and now they're partnering with Ripple. Coincidence? I think not. And then there's Bill Gates, who over 3 decades ago talked about concepts that feel eerily familiar today. Digital money, IDs, communication, all in one wallet PC. He saw the future before we could even imagine it. So when I say XRP's rise tied to a bigger plan, possibly stemming from centuries ago, you can't ignore how deep this goes. It's all been in motion for a long, long time. If the past shapes the future and the future reflects the past, XRP wasn't around 1,000 years ago or even 2,000, right? It feels like something ancient, something buried deep, being brought back to life through some kind of ritual. Strange, isn't it? Well, here's where it gets wild. The Gates Foundation is now partnering with a blockchain project created by Ripple's former CTO. And guess what? It's always Ripple, not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, just Ripple. Why is XRP always at the center? Could it be the chosen one? Maybe it's all part of a bigger plan. And then today things got even crazier. Mr. Poole, confirmed by Zero Hedge, shared something cryptic, a glowing chest, eerily similar to what Mr. Poole tweeted before. The XRP logo appears to levitate, floating, almost like it's waiting to reveal something huge. The chest isn't fully open yet, but maybe it's about to unveil XRP in all its glory. Here's an interesting take from Afanasio Visek Crypto. In physics, space-time forms the very fabric of the universe. Could that be why we have Stellar and Ripple? Stellar tied to the stars and Ripple representing the subtle shifts in timelines as present actions reshape the future. Is that the connection? Stellar equals space and Ripple equals time? Space and time? Fascinating stuff. Manipulating space and time is something the US government claims to have technology for, after all. Think about it. Stellar literally means of the stars, while the ripple effect is the gradual shift in future events caused by changes in the present. It all starts to add up, doesn't it? At least in my book. So what's the takeaway? For me, all signs point to one conclusion. Bitcoin was just a test, a prototype to capture attention. It's clear that the real innovation lies elsewhere. What do you think? At some point, they're bound to pull the rug. It's inevitable. But for now, we're riding the bullish wave, no doubt about it. Might as well grab as much profit as possible, since that's exactly what they're doing too. The tricky part is they'll know the perfect moment to pull out, right? The question is, when they do, where's all that money going to flow? It's not just disappearing into thin air. The most logical move, it'll likely flow seamlessly into XRP. There you have it. Today's date is 6/3, June 3rd. But here's the twist. June is actually the third month on the 13-month calendar. Wild, right? A lot went down today. Take the Fancy Pretzels video from Ripple Crippler, for instance, with its cryptic clock reference. Tick-tock. Snowballs might just be rolling into place too. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole XRP and Bitcoin death skull thing. Think about it. This all happened just days after Ripple's donation to the museum featuring the Bitcoin Satoshi skull. Crazy timing, right? Is it a warning? A coincidence? A clever joke? Who knows? Not financial advice, of course, but it's definitely intriguing. Whatever's going on at Soki's museum, there's something about these messages that keeps me hooked. Stay curious.